Hello, this is Marian coming to you from Seems to Be So again. I wanted to just take a few moments and quickly go over the thread library. I didn't do that so well, and I wanted to show you a few things on the thread palette window when you're there. So let's quickly do that. This little mini lesson is not going to take very long at all. In Electric Quilt, the threads have a library just like all the other parts of the software, like the blocks, the fabric, the quilt, the layout. They all have their own little libraries, well, except for Quilt. But Quilt is really the layout library. There's a stitching library, there's a photo library, there's an embellishment library, and there is a thread library. The thread library is filled with all kinds of wonderful threads. Now, I'm not sure if all these threads were added when they added EQ Stitch to the program or not. So I don't know if the regular EQ7 just had basic thread library or not. I don't have any idea. But the default library has 87 threads in it. And for the most part, I'm usually pretty satisfied with these. But when I want to work on special projects and I'm doing something that I'm actually making, I like to also go to Aurafill and grab up my colors. And they have 168 colors here listed for fabric for Aurafill. Any of these have many, many colors of threads. Gutermann used to be my favorite choice, but it is very difficult to find Gutermann thread, especially in the USA. Back in the 90s, I exclusively used Gutermann. I would do anything to find it. I literally drove hundreds of miles to get Gutermann thread. I loved it so much. So my other favorite thread is Sulky. I absolutely love Sulky threads. I think they're amazing. But you know, they're really great they're not meant for piecing or anything like that. They're meant for decorative embellishment, doing your applique. If you don't want to use invisible thread, you could use a rayon thread. I love Sulky thread. I think it's great. I also like Robinson Anton. You know, I haven't tried too many of the others, but you know, you have to go by what you can get in the area where you live. So anyway, getting back to where I was, I'm sorry. I wanted to show you these. These work basically the same as the fabric library does. When you want to add your other threads, I'm going to say that I'm going to add my cotton Mako. You could come here and select which ones you want. You could search for the ones if you happen to know what they are, but it does get a little bit hard because the search feature for some reason does not recognize just the number 2800, so you know, or 2888 by itself. So that's a little bit difficult. I'm not exactly sure how to get it to recognize the thread, and I'm not sure why it's not giving me a note card here on that, but it's telling me here that this is number 2888. It doesn't really tell you a color that, you know, so you have nothing to work with in that respect. And this is the thread library, so if I was going to have a note card, it should be here, but I guess they don't add the note cards for the libraries, or the thread libraries anyway. And really, why would they, you know? Anyway, when you want to add your colors, whether you add them all or you just select some, you're going to add them to your sketchbook. So I'm just going to take and I'm going to add some here, you know, to just add them to my sketchbook. And when I come over here to my sketchbook, now you can see that I've gone from 87 colors to 164. So they have definitely added to my sketchbook. So now when I come to this window and I come to the thread palette window, I should be on my colors. I want to be on my thread window. I wanted to talk to you about a few areas that I didn't cover in the last video. When you add new threads, it's just like the fabric. The new ones go to the very back. Up here, when you click on a color, it tells you the brand and it tells you the number of the colors. So that's a pretty cool little feature that you may not have realized was there before. And just switching around. So if you have lots of different people in here, or lots of different brands, excuse me, in here, then you're going to see them all. And sometimes it's even going to tell you the color name. That's pretty cool. So I really like getting the color names because you can search for color name. You can't really search for those numbers, so that makes it really difficult if you're looking for those Aurifil threads that you have in your personal inventory. So if I were going to get real serious about threads in Electric Quilt and want to put my inventory in, I definitely would be going by what those color names are. But at the same time, I probably would look for the color number as well. It's just a little bit more difficult. And maybe Electric Quilt has a good solution for that. Maybe they can help you out by writing support. So I wanted to cover these areas because I felt that they were important and I can quickly put them in a video, and I will have an image tutorial for them as well, but I thought, you know, it's just so quick to do this. So I thank you for taking the time to bear with me on what I forgot in my last video, and I hope you enjoyed this little mini lesson. Bye bye for now.